Yeah, a little more centered this time. Okay, a work in progress. Um, yeah, slightly on time today. Um, kind of pushed it back a little bit, primarily because as we've left off yesterday, I'm still continuing on with everything I'm doing there. Just figure I'd stop and kind of segue into something else. Primarily because kind of need a break. Not gonna lie, some of this stuff can get a little exhausting, slightly tedious. But outside of that, it's still progressive and still going great. And at the same time, I don't want every episode to be about the exact same thing, the exact same time. It was kind of leaning towards that, considering I'm working out. Yeah, gotta get caught up working on so much at once. Um, but yeah, uh, we'll go right into the music, the fantastic music news of the day. I'm extraordinarily excited to go into this because it also segues into another discussion that I've been meaning to get into for a long time, and that's just bizarre instruments in general. Not necessarily bizarre, just instruments that have been around for a while, or maybe even newly discovered, that have purpose and um, add historical value to the lineage of music. Uh, there's a couple of examples I could go into, as well as where when there's a few topics regarding the late 19th century, mid to late 19th century, where composers were inventing instruments then that are now, looked at as the classical instrument. But you always got to remember that it's always evolving. It was evolving then. It's classical now. Certain ones are classic at this point, and now we're thanks to the modern era, we're now discovering if it can make a noise, it can become an instrument. I mean, just look at this washboard. I mean, it holds true. And with this and that being said, we will go right into our ladies and gentlemen, music news. Yeah, this this band, I don't know if you've heard of them yet. I don't know if it's got to be floating around. If it's not floating around your algorithm right now, you are listening to the wrong things. You need to broaden your horizons. This band, Hun, has just released their debut album, third album, going strong. And I'm going to tell you, this is, like just a perfect example of how eclectic the mix can get, and why I love the internet so much. You would never hear about stuff like this if weren't interconnected in a way where we can in real time, share these ideas and cultures. So yeah, I have to highlight this one because not only does it sound extremely metal and extremely extraordinary, but it like I said, it also highlights a significant point to, if it makes a sound. And this is not necessarily, this is more or less a traditional instrument for them at this point, but they use what's called a miron. Oh shit, what was that? What the fuck was that called? Hold on 1 second. I have it up here because this is, like I said, this is going to segue into our next topic of discussion, because we really need to break this down and understand exactly what this is. Kind of, it's like a cross between a violin and a cello, and right along the lines with most other oriental instruments that are of similar design, where you have strings and a bow, similar to a cello, violin, and you use those in conjunction. I think it was only two strings, 2 or 3 strings. Let me go back and look. But The instrument itself was called a Morin Kerr. And I'm not sure if that H is silent or not, but I'm pretty sure I'm destroying how that actually is pronounced, considering this is as close as I can get with English. But this is a traditional instrument that has now gotten a massive overhaul once you've added pickups to this electromagnetic pickups and then plugged it into a distortion pedal. If I was finding when you listen to some of the neoclassical stuff in a similar fashion, it's kind of right along that's kind of, it's not that it's it's just, wow, it is two strings, but it's not that it's just it fits so well. It fits so well. And now we've seen it, now it's normalized where to see classical instruments in metal, originally it was just like so bizarre, so far-fetched. And now it's like, yes, the more the better. If you can add an orchestra, when you see Metallica, add an orchestra. When you see Dave Mustaine sitting in with an orchestra, Yngwie Malmsteen, need I go on? And even now, many of our favorite artists just incorporate those riffs directly into their writing already without the instruments. But this now takes that from another perspective on another side of the world that we've never really heard too much from. These are nomads out on the plain. I just saw a video about Mongolians, which I can only assume are fairly wealthy Mongolians, considering the tapestries they were wearing. And even though it's a yurt, it was a very well designed yurt. And let's be honest, a lot of people want to live in yurts these days. So I gotta admit, they were probably fairly well off just by how they were dressed and how much technology what they were packing. But they were showing how they still utilize the snow and the environment to survive through all of it today. So it's like, to know that the spirit of metal has reached itself out to the farthest plains, to some of this, to be honest with you, they probably heard it and was like, dude, this is right up our alley. Like, this just reincarnates the spirit of Genghis Khan. Like, let's be real, that the book was metal. In an extremely brutal and unforgiving and never repeat that kind of history kind of way. But as we reflect on it historically, yes, this fucker was extremely metal. So it's no wonder. It's absolutely no wonder that they've actually, decided to embrace this, and take it on a whole new level. You're gonna see this now. I guess they're getting ready to go on tour. They're on tour. Either way, I hope it's a world tour, and I hope they decide to stop by, because yeah, we need more of this. It just has these guttural, almost, because you think about how the monks up in the high Alps, or the Himalayas. I'm sorry, the Himalayas. They do this throat singing, is what it's called, and it fits so well, because what do we do with our gutturals? We sing from the throat, and it's just like, oh my god, they got it. They got it. And I see them singing and playing at the same time too. More props, more power to you. So we're gonna go into this, and we are gonna. I think we have to stop and at least hear the music, hear the vibe, and like I said, we gotta go further into detail about these instruments in general, because this needs a resurgence. You can tell it kind of already has. If you see theirs, they're gloss painted with fucking flames going up the top, like, and there's pickups in them. Come on, they're playing through distortion pedals. This is 100% modern metal at its best. But for this in general, though, I can't help but embrace new cultures. And when somebody asks, why are you just getting it? I got into guitar because I'm a guitar player. Okay, but I am also a musician, and as a business musician, guitar player who has an affinity for stringed instruments, especially, I can't help but want to broaden my horizons and want to really see a resurgence of instruments such as this. I saw one was a stringed didgeridoo. I just listen to it, and there's a few others that just with the most broad, bizarre names that just are just they need to come back. They need a resurgence. We need more of this. And if we could throw electronics into it and modernize it too, so that other cultures can tap in and diversify the metal. I mean, how many genres do we have now, guys? It's all metal. That's at the end of the day, at the end of the description, it's still metal, but it's just so I can't even. Last time I think I looked at the family tree, I was so overwhelmed. I can't even begin to see where this fits in. Like, what is that? Is it its own genre itself? That's a question I need to ask. Is it its own genre itself because it's Mongolian based, or are we defining this as because it's I think it would, to be fair, it should be within its own individual classification. Hun metal, who metal? I don't know. Not new metal, who metal? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, let's get deeper into this. I like this background a little bit more. Let's gonna go ahead and share the stage. Finally now, and yes, you should be able to hear the audio from this. And like I said, yeah, that'll be another discussion for another day. Like I said, I am in the. Actually, you know what? I don't think that topic's for this particular channel. To be honest with you, I'm interested in it, but that's yeah. Okay. Fuck. What was there? I think the album's called Hun. We'll just call it album. New album. No. 2026, yo. What you talking about? If you don't see him catch him on Instagram because this shit is fucking great. Oh, here we go. We got a short. For now, but no, hold on. Let's go into the music video. The Who. Oh, is it The Who? Motherfucker, it was right. It's called Hun. Okay, the album is called Hun. Oh, God, retract my fucking statement. They are called The Who. Who met? Okay, I thought this motherfucker got it wrong. But look at these fucking guitars, too. I don't even think they're actual. Are they full? I don't know. We're going to get into this. We got to dive into this because these instruments that are originally what drew my attention, let alone the fact that they actually know how to play them. Then they're riding this badass motorcycle out on the plains. Like, dude, all right. Like I said, they're doing all this. They're doing everything. So, yeah. Let's click it. Without further ado, The Who. Yeah. All right, hold on. Let me go back. Those fucking vocals, dude. That is not a traditional. I gotta know what the fuck that is. I have to. I just have to stop. Does anybody listen to Amon Amarth? And this is kind of what I was getting into, because what is so bizarre, because they share similar, and this is why I really want to get into this, because there's a lineage here. The instruments share a very similar lineage, and what is incredible, like, not only in how they're played, but how they're designed. This one's, you can tell the scale is a little bit broader, and the strings are thicker. He's in a baritone scale, but that's besides the point. It's just a bigger version. To uh, damn, I can't remember the name of this. It's a Nordic instrument. I cannot recall it, but we're gonna get into it. And I'm telling you, it's just like, dude, this is so insane. It's and you notice no subtitles whatsoever. No need for subtitles. Maybe check them out in the description if you want to translate. I don't know. There's just no need for it. It's just it's fine in just its raw form. And those backdrops, those mountainscapes that they're fucking. This is so fucking raw, dude. I love it. I love everything about it. I love everything about the way they shot this. Is so metal, and it's new. And not just because it's Mongolian. It's just it's new. The way the what they're presenting, they're this is a part of them, not just it's a good gimmick, but it's not a gimmick. You know what I mean? This is them. It's fucking amazing. What in the hell is that? What resonates so much is so similar to so many other cultures all around the world. Like you can say that it's just so there was definitely a connection, if not more now, but definitely there's a lineage here. There is a definite lineage here that needs to be spoken about. This is what I love about not only music in general, but what just what how we can follow along through the history of music is, we write our stories in song form, and that's a tradition that every culture around the world has shared and still continues to share to this day. And you could literally follow that. We could literally follow this back to the very beginning. And this is it's gonna be so awesome because this is where it's gonna start segueing into our historical segments and whatnot once I start checking off so many of my items that I need to get done off the list. So once those are done, we got more time to free up. We're gonna free it up with some really kick-ass shit, and it's got a lot to do with this. That drummer is ill. The whole fucking band is ill, and that frontman is ill on that Maureen Kerr. It just sounds so bizarre to say, but it's so cool. And did anybody else detect just the slightest hint of bluegrass in that solo? Just a little bit? And this is what I'm talking about, this connection. Not only is like, oh, maybe you just heard bluegrass. It's like, no. You could hear that was interwoven. That was very much a Mongolian take on a not a westernized. The playing style was very much westernized, but I can tell you right now that scale was into. There's something going on with that. That's absolutely amazing. Because I was listening to a bluegrass, some semi bluegrass acoustic folk guitar player earlier, and I could swear out of everything in the blues progression that he was folksy blues progression he was playing, some of the elements sounded Middle Eastern. And you went, where does it come from? We brought a lot of it here. And a lot of the Spanish brought a lot of it before that. The Spanish, because of their connection with the Middle East, and because of Middle East connection with Asia, and because their connection with, I mean, this is fascinating. Absolutely. I have no other word right now besides fascinating. That how we can, we already feel connected as a brotherhood, as a metalhood already. But to know that is the more we connect and the more we sing our songs together in the same room, the more we start to realize, wait a minute, maybe we are more of a metalhead than we thought. Like, this is insane. God, this is so good. I want to play another one. We probably should. We should play another one just so we get the right idea. But I really, really want to dive into those instruments because that's where it really. How about let's go back to that short real quick. Go back to that short. Oh wait, that's a short of this video. Fuck. Of course, it's the first one. Echoes of My Father. I kind of, this feels like already that this would be a ballad, but you never know. I don't know what to expect from this band right now. What? As I said, definite ballad, definitely on some deep, deep shit. So metal I can't begin. Look how good they're eating out in the middle of nowhere, though. By the way, look, I'm not gonna lie, that looks better than fucking deep fried, and absolutely delicious. And I think they have a dipping sauce. I don't know. Just correct me if I'm wrong. And he's smoking out of the most insanely awesome pipe. There's a lineage to that too. It's almost as if you could determine, as if there was a certain group of people, or groups of people, if you will, that had already shared a similar lineage of some type, but diverged in different directions somehow. I don't know. I'm starting to pick up on some of this. I don't know. Work with me on that. Just work with me on that. But there's something. There's something to this. I don't know. There's something here. I I want to continue a little bit, but I really, really want to go into these. Let me hold on. Let me show you that perfect example of what I meant when I said where Folksy definitely had um, uh, Middle Eastern roots. Where is it? And yes, children should be playing musical instruments. It will help enhance their creativity in life. And what I've heard, enhance their IQ somehow. I'm not entirely sure. Ooh, strange instrument plays itself, kind of. Wait, yes, I think it does. The marxophone. This is where we're getting into bizarre shit. Did I pass it? I know I saved it. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Wait, no. Yep, here it is. And he's tuned to C, G, G. Every other string is the G string. Go figure. the guitarist most notorious and diabolical emissary, and he went and tuned every string to it. All right, hold on. I have to hit the light. It's probably do some bullshit. Now tell me y'all didn't hear those Middle Eastern vibes in that guitar playing, and that was very much a folk blues progression. I don't know. I heard a blues player trying to break down, I think it was Beethoven, and say that it was blues. He did it in he broke the scale into pentatonics while he was playing and actually illustrated the point. Break it down however you want to, guys.
So then
there's definitely something much more grandiose to music than, and this is what bridges that connection. I do not believe in genre barriers. There are no genre barriers. Okay, that's 100% true. Music is music. Music is a form of expression, and to understand that expression, without maybe constructive criticism, yes, but without criticism, without bias. I mean, feel free to be biased. It's fucking America, it's a free country. But I'm just saying, you're missing out if you are. And oh my God, check out this fucker's acoustic. Now that's where it's at. Okay, that's where it's at. That's how it should be done. We'll get into that later, because we're talking about bizarre instruments. But yeah, going through a couple of these. Check out what this was this the one? No. That guy did some amazing shit. But we'll get into the guitar that plays itself. But first, we have to get into this adapter here that I really, really wish I had thought of. But no, this is brilliant. Check this out.
You can just kind of stick it on the guitar like so.
Love it, man.
The slide is compressed between two strings, so it stays there where you leave it. For example, then once you are
somebody's been practicing, but goddamn, I mean, he's gonna make it look a little bit easy, but with proper practice, there it is right in front of you. Shit, you want a side gig or just a good street hustle? That'll take your guitar to the next level and then some. Then you go and slap a badass fucking Bluetooth speaker right in the middle of that motherfucker. That could also work as a. Never mind. Never mind. Oh, wait. That would do some killer. That do some killer work, man. God, this show's.
You can just kind of.
What's he about to do? I think I see this. I know it doesn't matter at this point. God damn. Motherfucker! At first, I didn't know which of these two particular wait a second, what was I gonna say? But now I know it's both, to be honest with you. It is a testament to not only the genius behind the composers for the original Super Mario and Mario creations, because that was the original Mario as well, at 32-bit quality, maybe even 16 at that point. But also to the testimony of the testimony of the genius of this master composer as well, to take that and then demonstrate exactly that is, if that's not classical music, I don't know what is. I mean, we know it for what it is, but have we not associated it with a racist Italian plumber? We would have sat there and we would have still clapped. That's fucking brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. All right, so first thing I want to get into, while we have the opportunity, if we can get there without going through so much crazy stuff. So hopefully we find. Oh yeah, Anthrax. There it is. The stringed didgeridoo, which I believe is is a fairly new concept. I don't think this is traditional at all, but I'm 100% certain this is where we got most of our synth sounds in the 90s. Like, this is insane. I'm just looking at the backdrop and how everything's going. But this, I mean, this is 9 years ago. That's just when the video was posted. I gotta go and look more into this stuff because these, I'm telling you, some of these instruments, a lyre bowl, are just so fascinating. And you just don't see them everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, you don't see them everywhere. And I feel like that's what we need. We need more shit like this. I love stringed instruments, but I love, oh my God. Shit, you get one of these and one of those guitar attachments, like I told you before, and you have an entire Pink Floyd ensemble right there in the middle of the street. That is insane amount of tone capability coming from just, is that just four strings? Like four strings in a tube. A very precise tube, but I mean, without any other definition, that's exactly what it is. Four strings in a tube. And of course, a pickup to add those synths. I'm sure it's running through some kind of MIDI, perhaps, or maybe even just a phase pedal. Who the fuck knows? It could just be going through a typical floor pedal that could just give you access to a whole nother world. I mean, if you take into account what was going on with the Who, I want to call them the Hue. I don't know why, but the Who. And I can only imagine what somebody like them would do with this, or if we had an Aboriginal metal resurgence come from something like this. Like, who knows? Now I really want to get on this lyre bowl, and yeah, I'm starring every one of these. And if you see anyone else coming out with stuff like this on a mainstream level, you know where they got the idea from. I'm gonna stop right here for just a second. I'm wondering if that's the grain of the wood, but at the same time, I'm almost certain it's not. Like, that's just the way the light's bending. But what's interesting about it is that's almost in a waveform pattern. You can see the quilt. This is definitely a quilted, very beautiful quilted um, bottom, or actually, it might be the whole. Yes, it's carved out of one piece. Um, but this pattern here, these shadow patterns, are almost somatic or in a waveform. That's crazy. That's amazing. I had to stop and look at that. I don't know. That sounds absolutely fantastic. I'm almost about to fall asleep. I have to stop. I'm sorry. I don't know if anybody's still commuting or not. Hopefully, you're already back home and have already started, at least probably finished, that afternoon joint by now. But yeah, I'm almost absolutely certain that that's the wood grain patterns now at this point, which is incredibly interesting. If it is, it's almost in a waveform pattern. I don't know how to explain that, but what's it's a very interesting. What's unique about it is a very unique take on what could have been the oldest known instrument in history. The lyre is, I think, as far as I know, known to be the oldest, no, the oldest history, the oldest known instrument, ever made. And if you understand the story behind its creation, it very well could be, and very simple, you know, uh, traditionally. I mean, these are more acousticized versions, but you would. In a lot of cases, you would just see two pieces of wood with strings, just uh, woven in between, or strung in between, and then tuned to a particular key, and there you go. But these, if you add a little bit of extra, you make a lyre harp, um, uh, and yeah, these need a resurgence. These need a comeback. This is quite possibly, as far as I know, one of the oldest known, and this is me trying to really trace the lineage of the instrument back to its roots. Where one thing kind of leads to another. As I said, the songs tell the story, but the roots of the instrument also tell another story from another perspective. Go figure. Go figure. I'm touching on something, y'all. I'm touching on something. Hold on. Hold on. When the light goes out, I can tell. All right, let me click. Let me shut up and click. Oh, and then we got to get into the code up.
Hi everyone. Today I'm comparing three common 16-string budget lyre
Oh
harps.
no.
The first is a solid body lyre in a bow design. The second, a hollow body lyre with a sound hole, and the
Hmm.
third, another hollow body with a sound hole in a deer/antler design. Now they're all from the Acklot brand, but many other brands have the same features, so you can use this video as a reference. I will show you how the three lyres differ in playability and sound. Some of these differences I did not know until I compared them side by side, like you're about to see. But first, something about me. I started playing the lyre this year. I'm making this video from the point of view of a user who has played the lyre for 9 months. I started with the bow design, and I recently got these two, courtesy of Acklot. Let's talk about how they are similar. They are all made of mahogany, they have 16 metal strings, they all came with a pickup, a tuning wrench, a set of spare strings, and the same bag. Difference number one is the string accessibility. All three models have a cutout at the upper part of the lyre. The cutout allows you to reach the strings from the back so you can play with both hands.
I do have to stop and say that I really love those intricate little filigrees, kind of Celtic filigrees that they use around the sound hole.
The
That's
Deer
really cool.
design
I
has the
like that.
biggest cutout, big enough to reach all the strings from the back. When we look at the other two designs, the highest three strings, the F, G, and A strings, are blocked. You can only reach them from the front. Is this limitation a problem? Well, it depends on your playing style. If your left hand plays the bass notes to lower notes only, it doesn't really matter that you cannot reach the higher notes with your left hand. You can still play the higher notes with your right hand. So it depends on how important you think full accessibility of the strings from the back is. The next difference is the spacings between the strings. The bow design and the middle design are quite generous in terms of how far the strings are apart. I can fit my fingers easily between the strings. The deer design, on the other hand, has strings much closer to each other. I cannot fit my fingers through, and I have small hands. From here, you can tell how much they differ. The vertical distance from the top tuning pack to the bottom tuning pack is roughly the length of this pen, which is slightly over 6 inches. But the pen only covers 11 out of 16 strings on the other lyre. I think the manufacturer tried to fit all 16 strings within the cutout for full access on the Deer design, but they didn't want the lyre to be too wide, so they made the strings closer together. Now, what happens when I switched playing from the bow design to the Deer design is I got a ton of buzzing. Buzzing is when your nails touch a vibrating string by accident, creating an unpleasant sound. One of my lovely viewers, one of you, offered a solution to this problem. She said it's easier to play with your nails and not your fingertips, which makes a lot of sense. Your nails can get in between the strings with more precision. However, I like to keep my nails short, so I'm not using this method now. I just play with the very tip of my fingertips when I'm playing the Deer lyre. The closest strings of the Deer design allows you to play faster, but you need more precision, especially towards the two ends where the strings are even closer together. Difference number 3, the
So
pickup.
that's the lead guitar.
These lyres from Aglots came with a pickup that you can stick on your lyre. The pickup collects and transmits the music to an amplifier, so the music you play will be loud enough when you perform for a crowd. The pickups for these 3 lyres are the same. For the bow design, you can easily slide the pickup under the strings to reach the middle of the bowl. But for the other designs, the strings are not high enough for the pickup to pass through, so you can only attach the pickup to the sides of the lyre. I don't know how much a difference it makes in terms of the quality of the sound collection, but if you're planning on using a pickup, it may be something you have to consider.
I mean,
Difference number 4, the bridge. The
there's
two hollow lyres with sound.
different areas, and especially even on acoustic guitars, different areas have different tonality, and you can even see people when they're tapping on it for like drum rhythm patterns. They'll use these different areas in a similar way. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the exact same thing with this. So yeah, she wouldn't be far off, but at the same time, um, you would move it around and adjust it to adjust your tone.
Sound holes each have a bridge that raises the strings and holds them in place. The bridges are made of wood and securely attached. On the Deer design, the edges of the bridge are filed down so they are more rounded and don't scrape against your skin or clothes. I wish they would do the same thing for the other hollow lyre because the edges are a bit pointy. Not pointy enough to hurt people, but making them less sharp would be a nice touch. The bow design doesn't have this problem because it has no bridge, which brings us to the next difference. Playing upright. Because the bow design has no bridge, when you're playing upright, make sure nothing touches the strings. If you play like Music Bloomer, it will not work because her leg is touching the strings. And for a lyre with no bridge, the notes will go dead. Same thing if I'm wearing something chunky or if I'm playing on my blankets on the bed. If anything touches the strings, the notes will go dead. But it doesn't mean you can't play the bow design upright. You're just not as free. Look at Joy Abad. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. Or Jen and Faye. They have no problem with the bow design because they keep it clean. Nothing is touching the strings. If you haven't already, check out their channels. They play the lyre harp very well. Difference number 6, the back.
Just FYI, ladies are into the lyre.
When you turn the lyres around, the middle one, that is the hollow body lyre, has the ends of the strings exposed, whereas the other two have the ends hidden in drill holes so that their backs are completely flat. There's nothing wrong with exposing the ends of the strings, it's just not the most comfortable thing in the world to hold. Finally, we're off to a sound test. I'm going to play the same tunes on the 3 lyres. I'll play them under the same room conditions using the same mic. The only thing that may affect the fairness of this test is that I've been using the bowl lyre for 9 months, so the strings are 9 months old, whereas the other 2 lyres have new strings. Other than that, everything else will be the same. I will play the same tunes, starting with the bowl-shaped solid body lyre, followed by the round-shaped hollow body, followed by the deer-shaped hollow body.
That's not a bad sweet picking mission for just playing for a year. Constant fun. It's so crazy.
I'm not sure if the recording has captured it, but the lyres with sound holes have more resonance than the solid body. But then the solid body has a somewhat sweeter sound. Which
It
one do you
does.
like the best? Is there anything else you want to know about them?
I noticed about it. It's just that first one and the last one had brighter sounds, and this one definitely had more resonance. You can definitely hear it. This one seemed a little more dull, but I love. See, that's what I love about that constructive criticism, to where now we have a first-hand view. Someone who plays it directly. Now we know what could and should be changed about it, and could make a really kick-ass instrument. I love it. I love it. Oh, they sell them on Amazon? Get out. Let me hear what they got going on it. No, hold on. We said Kodo. Most unique instruments. That's good. Oh, here we go. That's what I'm talking about. You see, that's what I mean. Where it would traditionally just be two pieces of fucking wood. And I think something to resonate in the bottom. And what's so amazing about this story is it's like this very well could have, if this, it's so, it has its roots in some of the most earliest folklore that we have. So I'm curious. But then to see, I don't know, hmm, it's hard to tell which direction it went after. It almost seems like it just went in every which direction after the fact, but still like almost back and forth. It's some weird shit. It's some really, really weird shit. Can't really explain it. Ooh, no, no. I want to actually see one, but we know sitars. We know those. We know those need a strong comeback. Let's see. Where'd it go? Quit playing. Where is it? Where's the end? There it is. There it is. Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you put on the. I was thinking.
Wow.
When I saw this, like
You
that
just
was
need to
really
come
hard
back.
to transport. You don't need to adjust the tension of the
I
strings.
know there's
When
many of you
tune it,
out there
just
would be
move
like,
these to
damn,
tune.
I'd love to have direct access to shit like that. Yay, buddy. Heartbeat target. Thank you, Andy McKee, for
Already, it's so beautiful. I guess it makes sense with these that you would have to tune it every time.
毎回チューンしないといけないでしょ。
Because
Well, yeah.
these would just, slide away. So you just set the tension once?
曲によって
So each song she'll set the tuning. Tokiko is an acclaimed musician. She comes from the Hero family of the Ikuta Koto School in Japan.
So we have an absolute Koto master with us today.
Yes.
Yeah.
She also teaches piano and koto.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're here with an absolute Koto master today, Toki, as well as her translator, Keiko, and we're going to learn about Koto. What is this?
日本の楽器です。
It's a Japanese traditional instrument.
Yeah.
木は霧ポロニャ
And this is all hollow underneath.
中開いてます。穴開いてます。穴開いてる？
です。
Yeah, hollow underneath.
And then, how many strings do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
13
13.
13. And so is this tune, I guess you can tune it however you want.
はい
Yes.
And what do you normally tune it to?
と音楽を聴きます。
When she listens to the song,
その中で一番使われている音を聴きます。
and then she listens to the main sound from that music she hears,
それに近い音階を選びます。
then she chooses the closest tuning out of that sound. Yeah.
So there's not a standard tuning of it. It's always changing.
スタンダードも目にたくさんあります。
There's many standard tunings, yes.
これトラディショナルです。
So she has a traditional standard tuning. Yeah. This is a traditional standard
Like
tuning.
Japan.
It's instantly
Comes with a trained ear. I'm not gonna lie. I am nowhere near proficient at it, but it has been done.
recognizable. What gives it that unique sound that I instantly recognize? The shape of the body or the string? Like, what type of strings are these? They're very different.
テトロンです。
Tetron.
テトロン
It's just a different material. Like, it's not nylon.
テトロン
Tetron. Tetron. Tetron.
テトロン
Registered trademark. Polyester fiber. So it's plastic. 100% polyester. Okay, so 100% plastic. That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It almost looks like the type of strings that you would tie your shoe with.
It's Japanese plastic. I mean, come on, let's be realistic. It's a different breed here.
靴の紐
No!
Yeah, it's just so different. And that they're and all the gauges the same too? These are all the same thickness.
いいです。全部
太さも一緒
はい、
ですよね。
そうです
多分ね。
針も
針も
強さ、
same
いいです。
same type.
That's the thing I recognize most about that is the ability to do vibrato on this side of the string.
こっちの方でも This side of the string you can do vibrato. Okay.
なんだ、現代曲
Vibrato.
Yeah, so you don't play this side at all. Every string is the same gauge, same tension, and then it's all just about scale length that changes it. That's what a really unique thing about this. I don't think I've seen any other stringed instrument that does it that way, other than the shovel, which only has one string, so it doesn't have different.
Shovel.
I sometimes make music with a shovel.
それシャボ。
Yeah.
Okay. Shovel.
Is that the guy? Is that the shovel guy? All right, we'll check that out.
Yeah.
In a minute. That's
She played the traditional Japanese song.
Yeah.
Sakura Cherry Blossom. Cherry Blossom.
You know, I'd never stop to think about that. That's exactly what they're doing. Is typically what I would either be doing with that. You know, there's a little space between the tuners and the nut where you can bend the strings to get that, or you would use a whammy bar. Like traditionally, they would have no one. See what like it's just so natural. It would have like, oh my god, you can bend the strings with this. I know exactly what to do with that. That's fucking amazing.
It's interesting too that you have like one hand is almost dedicated to vibrato.
Sorry, vibrato.
Yeah, like
Vibrato kind of thing? Vibrato.
Yeah.
これですね。
and it seems like that's a big part of the sound. Do you use the vibrato to change notes, like go off a half step? Or do you use it just for vibrato?
上に上げたりしない半分。
Yeah, yeah.
下もします She does that way too.
Whoa, okay, so you can bring it up a bunch.
上にも上げたりもします。
Let's talk about the picks you're using on the plectrums.
There are 3 picks.
で、左利きの人も右手で弾いてください。
Even though you're left-handed, has to play with it.
Do you always
Chicken
play
foot.
3?
Yes.
Yeah, 3. So thumb, index, and the
Nice.
middle finger.
Do you use all of your fingers?
全部使います
Yeah. And is the reason to go from, say, the middle finger to the ring to get a different sound?
はい。
So if she wants to play that soft sound, she uses this finger.
Yeah, so you're often using both hands. What are the picks called? The plectrums.
爪。
爪。
ピッ。
Nail.
ネイル。
Direct translation is nail. Nail?
Nail.
Nails.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just like nail extensions. When was this instrument invented?
1300年前に中国から来ました。
1300年前。
はい。
So 1300 years ago, it came from China. China.
A really long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
I just want to hear it played more. Do you have any other pieces? Do you always tune by ear?
私はパーフェクトピッチがある。
She has a perfect pitch.
Guess having perfect pitch really speeds this up.
Fuck yeah, dude. I was gonna stop it earlier, but I couldn't stop. That shit sounds absolutely fucking fantastic. But yeah, there's so many of these bizarre instruments out there that's just like, you know, it's about time. Electric fan harp in the bathhouse? Who the fuck knows? There's no way in hell I'll ever get in anything like that. But some of those other ones, and I do follow somebody else that plays, some of those traditional Chinese instruments, where a lot of those get their roots from, including one I don't remember the name. He put like actual snake skin over the top, and very similar to the Maureen Kerr that we just looked at earlier. It's just another one of those similar instruments that, I don't know, there's a lineage to it, and it's very interesting. But I do feel like it's time for a resurgence on that. Like, there's no reason to stick to one particular, anything. And it's not like I'm going to do that anytime soon. But as I said, it's just always good to jot these ideas down as they come. And I think that's an incredibly fucking brilliant idea. I don't know, bridge the gap somehow. Try to bring some of this stuff back. I know there's a lot of other ones that are, but there's a lot of things that we could be doing to enhance them and, make them original. There's so, I don't know, so much time, so much to do, so little time. Yeah, flip that and reverse it. But let's see. That goes into kind of something else that, without further ado, it does kind of go into another conversation that I was getting in with my assistant prior to. And as I said, with all these love-hate conversations that we have, occasionally there are fantastic ideas that come of it. It's without not saying it's not on purpose, it's sheer accident, absolute accident. Even though it's kind of a long topic, it's just completely off of what I'm originally looking for, but still ends up being a good idea if you look at it in a certain light. So if I can show here, hopefully. I guess I have to share the whole screen for that. Alright, whatever. But this is something I thought was incredibly interesting, because if you've seen some of my graphic designs earlier in a random discussion, don't ask me, we were getting into trades, and branching out into different instrument styles and different ideas that I could be, outside of the ones that I already had, just to keep it fresh and diversify as much as possible. That's the key in all this. Diversity is key. So it came up and it actually suggested 3D sculpting some of these images out of wood. And I have to say, I think that would be incredibly difficult. Not impossible, incredibly difficult at this point. But I'm thinking later on, when I really set my mind to it, fuck yeah. I'm not entirely sure everything is trying to lay out for me there, but that is incredibly fascinating. It laid out a couple of these ideas, and where you see some of the LEDs in the background, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? It was one thing when I thought, I could stop at just the graphic design elements themselves, but to bring them into the physical, and using a medium that I'm already kind of versed in, already kind of molding these two mediums together like that, I never would have thought of that. I never in a million years would have thought of that. Not that I appreciate it. It's right up my alley. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if a friend suggests something to you. It's not like I don't appreciate. I had never fucking a million years would have thought that, though. I don't think I ever was. This is exactly what I'm talking about, where you can easily enhance your creativity. You know, where it took a design that I just comprised, God, like I said, over a decade ago, and now bringing it to an entirely different level. It has to, oh my God, who, what, when, and where. I mean, just to see, it's just like, what the fuck is that? And it's like, if you ever ask, oh my God, dude, like that's me. It's not me, but that's me. Like, that's, you know, your fingerprint. That's, you know, everybody has a fingerprint, and that is most definitely it. And in that, we, like us, we kind of eventually reach certain points and introduce some of the later guitar styles that I'm going to be introducing here in a second. If you've ever gone to the Pierce Acoustics site, you will see there's model numbers for P1, P2, and P3. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have seen the P1. Prepare for the P2. You see a slight little, you know, where we kind of broach into the Les Paul genre, you know, but still kind of, to me, maintaining that Middle Eastern, European, you know, um, styling there. And of course, implementing our pre-designed hexagon inlays, you know, not completely out of fact, you know, I'm not the originator of it, but that particular pattern, you know. And then we have the P3, not quite the S style, slightly augmented, you know, not exactly it. I think right up the alley. And if you were one word to do a double cut design, which it is a discerning guitar shape. You know, it is the standard guitar shape now at this point. Between that and the Les Paul, but I think it's probably the most recognized guitar shape at this point. So we can't discount it completely. But I never wanted to do anything exact, and this I think is a good way. It augments it, and it's not completely, you know, is it completely unique? No, not really, but it is different. Especially when you talk about that upper horn up there. Like, it's just, I love where we kind of combine the Les Paul lower horn with the Strat up. That's cool. I think that's what's kind of going on here, where if you kind of dissect it just a little bit, bisect it, whatever, you can see a Les Paul lower half and semi Strat upper half. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's something that needs to happen. I know they hate each other, but you know. But yeah, without further ado, oh my God, I didn't add it to the stage, did I? I'm such a bastard. All right, well, let's do that all over again, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce you to the P3. Fuck. And everything I said before still counts. We'll just go through. Here is the P2. Yes. Feel free to freeze frame. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go back so you can kind of get a broader span of what we were looking at before. And then, yeah, the P2. Like I said, you give it just a slight hump, slight, but still maintains it. It has that. To me, it's very Middle Eastern, Eastern European, and I fucking love it. And then, yeah, shit, like I said, my art designs that, yeah, with the LED backing and everything like that. It even added my logo, my original calling, I don't know, trademark down at the bottom, where it added to its own over here on the right, which is incredible. But you can see this almost like a diorama display now. If you're familiar with anything that's on my page before, you know what this is. But to see it out of various wood shapes, you know, you would carve this, and then you would probably you would probably machine this, and then you would carve this and elements of both to get that. You can see here how it was suggesting originally that I would do this. And yeah, with the same thing with these other designs, and I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck? That is so more intricate than I'm not saying that I would ever be capable of, but what I'm currently capable of is fairly intricate already. But that, ladies and gentlemen, yes, it's a completely ornate design there that takes some careful crafting and detail. But should it and could it happen? Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, a perfect example of where, accidents can and will happen for the right reasons. And I love it. I love it. Um, yeah. So, yeah, I think that about covers most about what, you know, I would consider to be an update, without going into exactly what I'm currently going into. But I'll go ahead and sign out for now. I wanted to keep it to about an hour this time. So, like I said, I just kind of took a break from what I was doing, which is currently what I was doing before, between perfecting both websites and linking everything together. And yeah, and bringing these beautiful quality instruments to the masses, because that continues as well. Like I said, there is uh, um, how do I explain that? Signature, well, an unknown, currently unknown to the market, is kind of new electromagnetic shielding that we perfected. Me and my assistant and I have perfected, and yeah, um, we're currently blending it together. Like I said, I'm trying to invest in everything at once, so little bits at a time. I have the all the electronics and stuff like that. So I'm putting my own together. You will see the original, and then yes, once the down payment is made, just much like every other um, custom shop, I will utilize that to purchase the exact same materials required, and then put the exact same methods of production, and yeah, blah blah blah. So without further ado, I think we'll call that an end, so that I can go ahead and get back to doing that, so that we can, you know, continue moving forward doing that. Oh my god, fatigue is really starting to catch in. It's a lot to undertake at once, but I've already said that there's years that I'm trying to make up for in this. I tried to establish this in 2020 and several times since. So, and I'm not backing down from it now at all. So, without further ado, I appreciate, just like every other day, ladies and gentlemen, any and all support that you've given and continue to give. And until the next time, keep it heavy, keep it original, and as always, keep it easy.